Suggest. In this grammar review section, we need to look at it that how we are going to use a relative clause with suggest in it and how is it going to be different from giving an advice or advising someone. She, gap, a doctor, suggested me to see a doctor, suggested I see a doctor, or suggested to see a doctor. The answer which is correct is B. She suggested I see a doctor. So it is very direct after you use the word suggest, because suggested is like giving a mild sort of an advice. And what is the advice? That is, I see a doctor. So it is not necessary to use the preposition to see. Instead, she suggested I see a doctor. That will be correct. Suggest can also be followed by verb ing. That is, that we can use suggest with ing, but since here the options are not given with ing, therefore we are not using the verb as ing. So it can be she suggested seeing a doctor. This sentence will also be correct in case it is given in the option. Since it is not given in the option, therefore we are not allowed to change the option that is given already. But in order to know whether there can be other ways to say the same sentence, then it can be said that she suggested seeing a doctor, or she advised seeing a doctor, or she gave me an advice to see the doctor. So all these things can be used in order to give a meaning to the sentence by using a relative clause in which the meaning is clear that this is the suggestion which is given. However, because these options are given and we have to select one of them, in this case we will be selecting B because it is giving the correct grammatical structure in which it says she suggested I see a doctor. So the suggestion was to see a doctor. So we are not putting in the preposition to, because when it is a suggestion and the speaker is saying she suggested, it means this was her suggestion. So we don't even need to use me here. So when we are also changing the verb see by ing, even there we do not really need to use the word me or to. In traditional English or in old-fashioned English, it was used that with the suggestion, it could be said that she suggested me to do something. But for the modern grammar and the structure that is accepted by the modern grammarians, it is said that you can directly use suggested I see a doctor. We do not have to use the preposition to, and we do not have to use the pronoun me, because we are talking about a suggestion that is given, and the speaker who has been given the suggestion is talking about the suggestion. Therefore, it is not necessary to use the pronoun me to say she suggested me. Instead, it could be she suggested I see a doctor. So it is very clear that the suggestion was given to me because I am using the pronoun I. So I do not need to mention the action by using the pronoun me and the use of preposition to. Instead, it has to be very direct that the suggestion has been given to see a doctor. So it can be just said, she suggested me I see a doctor, or she suggested I see a doctor. In that case, it will be the correct grammar structure which is accepted in the modern grammar books. And if we want to change the verb with ing, we can only do that if the option is given in that. But here, since the option is not given, we cannot change it. We can only change it or use the particular relative clause of she suggested seeing a doctor if we have a choice of adding the relative clause by our own understanding, and the options are not given.